It's a visual platform. So having the visual high quality graphics or videos that can answer someone's query in a way that's best digestible for them. I mean, you'll make small tweaks on what the title is and the description, but if it's a quote, because this example was from an individual who's selling a personal success book. So we'd said if there was a chapter that's around love and finding a partner, you can use the same quote and then provide a bit more context to it, which they can then find even more context to on the embedded link. So you use this as like the tip of the iceberg of a journey with someone, like your customer value journey. You tease them with information, you deliver on that promise with the description and more, and then you give them even more value when they take the next step of clicking on the embedded link and going to your website.
Hey everyone, I'm Mark DeGrasse, President of Digital Marketer, and this is the Digital Marketer Podcast. Today we have Lauren Petrullo in the studio, and we're going to be talking about Pinterest, which is one of the 7 platforms that we talk about with our new social media certification coming out in Q1 of 2023. So Pinterest was actually a late ad, and it was something I kind of debated on because I was like, I personally love Pinterest. I use it for designs and content curation, a bunch of different things, but a lot of marketers don't see the value. So I figure what we can do today is help establish that value and give them some awesome actionable tips that they could use right now to start making Pinterest work for their business. So
let's do it.
So Pinterest, why should anybody use Pinterest?
Pinterest is the intersection of search engine and social media. So it's the place that gives you the most amount of visibility the longest when compared to any other social media platform.
That's
you
good.
have the chance to not only have a time decay that's, like 1,200 times better than a Facebook post, because a Pinterest post will last 3 to 4 months compared to a few hours. You also have the opportunity to take people off platform to go to your ideal call to action, be that your website, to download a lead magnet, to purchase a product. It's made to help people discover and then explore outside of the platform, which is why I think it's the best place to distribute your resources.
I think that's an excellent argument. Well, because it's funny because you see the big platform. Everybody worries about Facebook. They worry about Instagram. They worry about even Twitter. Like they'll worry about Twitter before they even give Pinterest like a nod of like, maybe it could do something. What do you think has led to that? Because if you look at all platforms, like they're trying to keep people on their platforms, and so they don't want to send it to your lead magnet. They don't want to send it to your product page.
Right.
But Pinterest does.
I would assume that, there's 2 parts. For the reason why there are fewer adopters to distributing their content also on Pinterest is because the assumption that it's hard. The assumption that, like with TikTok or going from Android to iPhone, that type of transition from one social media platform to another requires a huge learning curve that they're not ready for. When in fact, it's probably easier than most people would assume. There's no complicated scheduling structure. It's in fact a great place to repurpose and test content ideas, which is where it's, if you're able to upload a post on Instagram, you can do way easier uploads on Pinterest.
That's such a good point. Well, and the fact that, there's that barrier because you look at it and it does look complicated. There's a ton of pictures coming in.
That's fair.
A lot going on. And then the engagement on Pinterest is not similar to the other platforms. Other platforms, you share, you comment, you like. On Pinterest, you pin, you
repin.
You
can save, you can save stuff and then you bring it to your board. But I get it. That does give a UX experience where it's overly complicated. But at the end of the day, it's still just having those that are active users, because there's over 440 million active users on the platform. Those that know, really go deep into it. And then you can organize your content into boards, which let you curate essentially the collections of your information for your desired avatar or target audience.
I love that. Well, I think in terms of just platforms in general, I think the best curation function in terms of being able to categorize, subcategorize, and just organize your stuff.
Yeah.
There's, I don't know any platform that does it better.
Like Instagram has guides where you can pull together some posts, but again,
bookmarks, right?
This is keyword based because it's an intersection of search engine and social media. So you don't have to have anything in chronological order. You're allowed to use keywords to optimize your titles, your alt tags, like they're all image text, your descriptions themselves, and then on your boards themselves. So there's all these different ways for you to gather that information so that people can find what you're looking for.
No, I love that. Anyone, if anybody hasn't used Pinterest before, I definitely recommend use Pinterest if you're thinking about getting out of the platform. But we also talked about, in context of the social media certification, where we're teaching essentially the digital marketer overarching strategy called the customer value journey. And then we're going to tell people in the cert, like, hey, you should really choose and focus on one, maybe two, platforms. And I think you made an awesome argument for like Pinterest should always be one of the platforms.
Yeah.
If you were going to pair it, let's talk about pairing.
Okay.
What actually pairs best with Pinterest?
I mean, it's wherever you already have a lot of content. I think the best pairing for Pinterest is content in general, whether it's blogs on your website or posts that you've already done. If you have been posting on your Facebook or Instagram page for over a year, let's say you're even doing like one post a week or 2 posts a week, when we know that most are doing 3 to 7, you can repurpose all of that content, even if it's been dead or like not really seen or acted on. If it's still relevant, you can take that content and post it to Pinterest. So it's not that like moving forward, would I say there's one platform that's better than another in terms of pairing, but it's great to pair past content with Pinterest and then just pull from this vault of resources, because Pinterest loves consistency and volume because it's a great testing ecosystem. But I will say right now, algorithmically speaking, there is a skew of additional visibility and exposure for those using short form videos, so 59 seconds or less, because that's what TikTok leans into, those shorter form videos as their type of content. If you're doing TikTok strategy, Pinterest is really easy to pair with it. But if you're not active on TikTok and you just, you're piddling away and having a VA help you with your social media posts, that's a really, really good pairing if you want like low barrier of entry, minimum extra work for maximum additional exposure.
Love that. Yeah, that's, it's practical. And I love practical because everybody gets excited about like, oh, I'm going to get on there and I'm going to kill it. I'm going to be a million users in a year or whatever, versus just like what could work for you today and what is the easiest to put into action. And I think Pinterest really fits that. For
an hour a day, you can generate over 50,000 monthly views to your Pinterest account.
I love
in
that.
Less than 90 days.
For reals, not for...
50,000 monthly views. That's not 50,000 total views. That's recurring views each month. And with the longevity of these posts, that can carry you over for quite some time, even if you just stopped posting, which you shouldn't, because Pinterest loves consistency. And like, why would you stop when you see this like monumental gain of new followers and visitors to your website and resources?
A monstrous game. Gain of users.
Hey everyone, I want to quickly interrupt the podcast for a special announcement. If you're a marketer, which you probably are since you're listening to this podcast, you know that social media marketing isn't about cool hacks or some weird trick that a self-proclaimed expert is telling everyone about. True social media experts understand this. Social media is a real craft that involves real strategy that goes far beyond flashy hacks. That's why social media is the #1 most misunderstood and underleveraged marketing channel. A digital marketer, we know what you need to become a true social media expert. You'll be learning from top industry experts about the exact methods that work today for marketing on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Pinterest, and TikTok, and how to incorporate them into a comprehensive social media strategy. You'll learn how to tie in your social media plan with your company's overarching goals. You'll learn how to source and create engaging content that's perfect for your ideal customers. Best of all, you'll leave with a complete understanding of how to strategize, execute, measure, and optimize your social media marketing. Learn more right now at digitalmarketer.com/socialcert.
So you have actually been managing the digital marketer account for 3 weeks at this point. Let's just talk about kind of what you did and what kind of results you got.
Sure. So coming into the account, you did have 10,200 followers. Side note, followers don't matter. It's a vanity metric, but it's still a pretty number to look at. You're like, wow, I have 10,200 people that want me to post on Digital Marketer. Cool. Got it. Let's go. And so you're generating less than 1,000 impressions a month. Within 2 weeks, we had 12,000% increase that visibility by repurposing existing videos on your Instagram and your TikTok pages, bringing it in, leveraging, chat AI so that we can use AI to build the titles, the descriptions, and our keywords so that we could repurpose the content with minimal effort for maximum exposure. But yeah, so what we had done was 30 to 35 pins in a week. We do that with a combination of 2 idea pins a day and then 5 or 6 standard pins. And what that allows, again, is the momentum of the consistency posting. Idea pins specifically are repurposing TikToks, Reels, Instagram, Shorts from YouTube, whatever that video is, because you can't do the embedded link. So we want to have content that's inspirational and it helps people get an idea. And then we do, like 5 to 6 standard pins, which can be text, it can be like images, it could be videos, there's carousels even. There's lots of different options you can do for the standard pins. And that gives us more rich data to provide because we can also do embedded links. And what we saw right away is Atiba had this great video that we had pulled from the Instagram account, and it had generated over 99 clicks to digital marketers' website in under a week.
That's incredible.
And so it was just like the opportunity cost, and that's just starting. It's going to stay as a viable resource for another 2 months. So it's posted once, and it's like having a lottery ticket for every single lottery that calendar year.
That's fantastic. Well, and I think it's, I mean, it's scalable. And it builds on itself, which you can't say that about, I don't think, any other platform. And maybe YouTube, you could have old stuff, like maybe it keeps on getting views, but everything else is pretty instant. And if you're not working it right now, then it's probably not going to work for you very much.
The compounding thing, I think, is a really great benefit of the platform because what we had started with were maybe 3 or 4 boards, and now we're at over a dozen different boards where we're curating different pieces of content into collections or boards that will help the user find more of what they're looking for. So it gives that like binge scrolling and that binging consumption in an easy to navigate format.
Well, and it's easy to navigate for not just the user, which of course you're focused on them first, but also for you, because if you're a social media manager and you're in charge of 7 platforms and you're trying to like, okay, I did these graphics and I did these videos and I did this, and most platforms it's like, figure it out. And it's very hard to actually organize it. It's playlists on YouTube, it's collections on TikTok, it's bookmarks on Instagram, sort of, and then stories up there. I mean, it's very complicated, but Pinterest I've found is the easiest to start pulling information. And one of the things we talked about during the AMA that we did was that you could actually take those posts and then switch them a little bit to put them in different boards. And so what I saw was like, man, if you really wanted to test a demographic, you could do I think your example was like finding love. And you could actually take the same quote and put it with like a blue background versus like a pink background. Put it in a different category.
So finding love for her, finding love for him. It's just it's a visual platform. So having the visual high quality graphics or videos that can answer someone's query in a way that's best digestible for them. I mean, you'll make small tweaks on what the title is and the description, but if it's a quote, because this example was from an individual who's selling a personal success book. So we'd said if there was a chapter that's around love and finding a partner, you can use the same quote and then provide a bit more context to it, which they can then find even more context to on the embedded link. So you use this as like the tip of the iceberg of a journey with someone, like your customer value journey. You tease them with information, you deliver on that promise with the description and more, and then you give them even more value when they take the next step of clicking on the embedded link and going to your website.
Love it. Well, and I love the website traffic, which is, for me, I always say the point of social media is to get people to your website.
To take action.
To take action, do something rather than just like or whatever. That's the vanity metric, like you said.
Pinterest allows you to inspire people to take action.
Love it. That's a good line. All right, last question.
Okay.
And this is a switch. If I generate massive amount of content using Midjourney, combined with an AI development of Canva and just spit out a bunch of junk, would it have the same weight as if I had also, or taken the other path, which is designed a bunch of junk myself and then share it originally?
That's a good question. I mean, the data will tell you, but I don't see why that wouldn't generate. It's a volume game. And so you want to be posting a lot. Like, you don't want to overburden someone and just be like, oh, it's 500 posts. But there have been accounts where people do these, I'm going to call it spammy type of content and posting 1,000 times a day. And like, I'm not saying it's black hat, it can be gray hat, and you're going to get, if you're doing that type of volume, just by like the law of numbers, you're going to have some posts and some pins in there that are going to take off. So you could test it. It's a really good testing ecosphere because you're not going for followers that are going to be loyal to like, oh, I'm always waiting to see everything that this brand produces. You're looking for people that are searching for relevant answers based on their keyword topics.
Okay, so it's like the Google of social media platforms.
Yeah, 100%.
Awesome. Love it. Well, if people want to learn more about you and maybe find out more about your involvement in our new social media certification, where can they go?
Well, you can definitely go to digitalmarketer.com and find me as a subject matter expert there. And then my company's website is mongoosemedia.us, and I am Lauren E Petrullo, like Lauren Elizabeth Petrullo.
Like, or that's your name?
That is my name.
That is your name. Okay.
It's Lauren E Petrullo.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Lauren. Always appreciate you and everything you do. Just in case anybody doesn't know, Lauren's actually one of our subject matter experts for our e-commerce certification. So if you're into e-commerce, check that out. You'll see Scott and Simon and Lauren, and they'll teach you everything you know about the e-commerce tree of life, which is a concept I really like.
And if you're doing e-commerce, you should definitely be doing Pinterest because it's just free visibility. That's just
so easy.
So good.
Easy. No, love it. Thank you so much, Lauren. And thank you for listening. And we'll talk to you next time.
Ciao.